Yo, what's up, YouTube? All right, today I am finally making this video. This is long overdue. In regards to the advent for Yeonhee. So I'm gonna show the team that I'm using from a couple different people that I've seen run it. This is the Juri team. So ideally, if you don't have Juri, then this isn't gonna work. I will make a separate video using for like a more free to play team of somebody else you can use. But if you have Yuri or Juri, then this is what you can use. The highest score I've ever scored doing this was, if you look here, was about 5 million, 5.1 mil. The thing about this as well though, it is highly RNG on Juri's follow-up attacks. So if you don't know, Juri, she has 25% chance to do a follow-up attack whenever an ally uses a basic attack. Now, if you have her T2, if you were super blessed by the gods, then her T2, it takes it from 25% chance to 35. So that will help with a little bit of consistency. On average, I probably do anywhere from 3 to 4, I would say. But if Juri does a good amount of follow-up attacks, then I can score pretty high. So um what the team looks like for team one, ideally you want to burst that down as quick as possible, get it to the million marker. So this is the team that I'm using. So I have Vanessa T6. I'm assuming majority of you probably have Vanessa T6 if you use the 7-day tickets to choose her. If not, then this might not work in the same order, because when she's T6, all of her hits inflict 24% magic vulnerability. So, and I have her on a crit set, just for extra damage. So, because Vanessa, as much as she supports, she can double as a damage dealer as well. So, you'll actually, like, the amount of damage she does is actually pretty good, insane. But she is required to be T6. If not, then you can typically just sub somebody else in this spot. Either with like a defense down or a magic, or somebody else. I don't even think anybody else does magic vulnerability. Because Miho we're using in the second team, so you can probably just either swap Miho and then put something else in team two. But I'll kind of put that in the description of who else you can use. Um, Ruri, I'm using Ruri for damage as well. One of the main damage dealers. Yeonhee, once again, typical damage gear sets. Um, Lena's just here for that defense down. Oops, where is it? Yeah, that defense down. Where is it? It's her T6, right? Sorry. Not the defense down, for the crit damage boost, right? So that crit damage boost by 34% is pretty much what we're using her, but we're not using the top skill to buff anything. And then Cleo is just here as well because she will put Yeonhee will put your backline to sleep. So she's just here for, I mean, the attack boost and crit rate boost is great, of course, and then for the 2 debuff remove as well. So, and she's on a damage set. Pets, feel free to use whatever pets you have available. Ideally, you know, note, if you have a note, you're gonna want to use note. If you have a Yeonji, use Yeonji. If you have Windy, Windy will work as well. Pretty much any damage dealing pet that you have. If you have a 6-star pet, that's ideally going to work better than a legendary. So just use that within caution as well. So the skill order, the third one doesn't really matter because she's going to get put to sleep anyway. So it doesn't matter. But oh, I lied. We are using this. So you're gonna start out with Lena. So you're gonna get the damage boost. You're gonna apply defense reduction to Yeonhee. She's gonna then put your team to sleep. So then you're gonna use Chloe to cleanse, and then Vanessa's gonna go in to do damage and apply magic vulnerability. And then from there, you're just gonna do literally the order just goes, for me at least. It's Yeonhee S1, and then both the Rui's damage abilities. You only can use triple attacks. So things like uh this waves of sand, which hits 4 enemies, it's not going to do any damage. Yeonhee's S2 is not going to do any damage because it hits all enemies. So just keep that in mind. So ideally I clear it in this order. So 1, 2, 3, and then I just do these damage abilities, and it takes me to a mill, and I'm about, usually it's 20 turns. I've got it done in 19 one time, but that must have just been super luck. So for team two, you're going for Biscuit, of course. She's amazing. For the weakness hit. Now keep in mind if your Biscuit isn't T6, she's only going to buff one ally. So ideally, the one ally you want to have buffed, it really varies, to be honest with you. You'd want Juri, of course, because Juri's the main source of damage here. But if you don't have Juri, or if you're not getting those follow up attacks, then Miho might be the a good option as well. But ideally, Juri's the person that you want to have. If it's T6, then you want to make sure it's just hitting both these front allies as well. Daisy's just here specifically for, we're using this ability, so we're giving a magic attack boost by 33%. That's really it. Nothing more to it. Once again, all her abilities, none of them are triple, but we're just doing it for the boost towards the team. You also just want to keep in mind, if you typically run in Daisy, because you're probably using her for Ox, her magic attack, you don't want it to be too high, because if it's too close to your Miho or Juri, what's going to end up happening is she'll get the buff from Biscuit. So typically you want to try to keep like anywhere from like a 400 to 700 attack gap. You can test it and see. But if it's too close, then sometimes she might get the buff. So as you can see, this isn't, I had to put her on like a damage reduction just to kind of reduce her attack to make sure that she doesn't get it. But like I said, for this instance, she's not being used for damage. We're just strictly using it for the attack damage buff. Holy shit. Orly. Orly is here specifically for, I mean, they recently buffed her. Her buffs don't really change much though in this specific, but it's for this right here, her S1. When it hits, it does a defense reduction by 36%, which is one of the largest defense reductions. You do need a skill enhance for this. If you don't have Orly, which probably most people don't, and if you don't have this leveled up, then you won't have the defense reduction at all. It gets added as a S2 effect. So you can just use somebody else who applies a defense reduction in this place. Or you can probably put like a Kyriel just for the additional damage boost as well. So let me see, Kyriel. I can't even find her right now. Yeah, I'm not sure which. Oh, here she is. You can probably like maybe Kyriel, because I said she gives. Actually, no, you wouldn't even be able to. Hold on, let me see something. Increases magic attack. I'm trying to see if it stacks. Yeah, it would stack. So you could do the additional boost, or just whoever else does defense down, as well. I'm drawing a blank on all the characters that do defense down right now, but you get the idea. Um, and yeah, I know some people. No, that was magic vulnerability. Yeah, I'm drawing a blank. I know there's somebody else that can do defense down, and I just can't remember off the top of my head right now. But ideally, like I said, if you don't have Orly T2, you can just use somebody else in this position that'll do the same effect. And as far as the skill order goes, once again, this third skill is not going to matter because she's going to get put to sleep. But as soon as you enter, Biscuit's going to immediately do her S1. And then from there, they're going to get put to sleep. She's going to remove this, Miho's going to remove the sleep. And then from there, we're just going to kind of just start using these. Ideally, we're just buffing ourselves as much as possible and reducing defense. Like I said, this all comes down to not the abilities, but Juri's follow-up attack. So you're going to kind of see, hopefully, as long as she hits her follow-up attacks, you're going to see a lot of damage. And then the skill order, we kind of go from here, which is like we go here, we do a magic buff, and then from there we do Miho's S2, we do Orly, and then like you'll do another defense down on Juri. And as you can tell, her like Juri's defense reduction is only 29%. So that's why like hers is greater. It's stronger. But as I said, if you don't have Orly, you can just substitute Orly's. Like you could put like a Kyriel here or something, and then you can just use Juri's defense reduction instead, and then you'll still be fine. And then like you just kind of rotate the abilities as you go. And then like I said, the main thing is you're just looking. All right, so as you see when we come in here, we're immediately gonna pop the Lena, and now we have the defense down. She's gonna put our back line to sleep. Chloe's then going to cleanse it and give us the crit rate buff and attack buff. From there, we're going to queue Vanessa for the magic vulnerability. You're going to see, like, Vanessa does, like, a lot of damage. I mean, look at that. And then from there, we pretty much have all the buffs we need. So now we're going to queue Yeonhee's S1. And you're going to see it puts us at 541. And typically, like, I know the score is usually the same. I can tell by the damage for the most part every time. Juri does her S2, which puts it like 9 something. That's actually pretty low. Normally it's around like 940. But it doesn't matter. We still hit 1,000,000, 20 turns. So it's pretty consistent as far as the 20 turns go. So now coming in here, Biscuit's gonna pop her S1. She's gonna put the back line to sleep, which is why I said this third ability is gonna get canceled out anyway. So it doesn't really matter if we have it in a skill queue or not, but we apply the magic vulnerability. Now we're applying the defense down. And so like you can see there, like that's a follow-up attack. Hits for about 60k each. And it's only gonna get stronger. You see right there, that's 110 each, approximately. So you see like even Miho hits pretty strong. Follow-up attack right there. We just did a barrier for a little extra like sustain essentially. So your Miho's ability wood is gonna be up, but don't use it yet because she's gonna sleep next turn. So we kind of essentially, you know, another defense down, follow-up attack. Now she's gonna put us to sleep. Now we remove the sleep again. So don't use, even though it's up, don't use it yet until you get put to sleep. So now we're gonna pop the defense reduction again. And then as you can see, it's just a cycle. So now we're back into biscuits. And then we're gonna do magic attack boost. And your team won't really die, to be honest. I've never had anybody die on my team. But you can see like those Juri follow-up attacks do massive damage. And that's why I said the biggest thing this comes down to is really just how many follow-up hits can you get, right? So like you can see right there, like that was pretty good, to be honest with you. And we cleared at about 4.1, right? So like if you get really lucky, or if your Juri's T2 and you're proccing a lot more, you'll easily hit like around over 5, just on this in general. So, but on average, like I said, I probably hit anywhere from 3.5 to 4, a little upwards of 4, really depending on those hits. So as far as your gear, I've done a little testing. I don't think there's really anything that sways the follow-up attack, like weakness hit or anything like that. I know her follow-up attack does scale off attack, which somebody in my Discord pointed out. So I tried attack gear. I do feel like for some reason with attack gear, I feel like she procs it a lot more. Could just really be a placebo effect, or like it really might not be the actual case. I was running her on like an Avenger set, and I don't know. I just feel like I barely got any crit hits on it. So I mean, you can test it out and see, but I tried the Avenger set and it didn't seem like I was really getting too many follow-up hits. So might just be in my head. Ideally the damage seems about the same for me. It really might just be though, I don't have enough Avenger pieces to like really put her on a great Avenger piece set. As opposed to like here, I don't use attack piece set, so I kind of have like a lot of pieces that I can just stat up. So like at least like you want to try to at least get some crit and damage as well, because once again these hits are going to be based off her damage, so you want to try to get as much as possible. Ideally, if your crits are hitting for about 110 each time, then or like around 100k per hit, then you're pretty solid. So that's pretty much the run in itself. If you guys have any questions, just let me know. Hopefully I didn't miss anything important. I try to point out everything that's going to be super important in regards to this run of just what you need. Like I said, the biggest things is obviously if you don't have Juri, this is not going to work. Um, like I said, for Orly, that's fine. You can just put somebody else who can buff, like a Kyriel or something, and then just use Juri's defense down instead. So you would just replace that skill order. And Biscuit, if she's not T6, then just keep in mind she's only buffing one. So just try to make sure it's on Juri, not Miho. So once again, you're gonna have to play around with the stats, but if she's T6, just make sure it hits the both front line. And then for the team one, the biggest thing is, like I said, if Vanessa isn't T6, then you can kind of either just put Miho here to help clear it faster, or whoever has, like, once again, a magic vulnerability or something, you can just put here and replace it as well. So yeah, that's pretty much the video in a nutshell, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.